The President, please be seated. The court is now in session. During today's session and as scheduled, the Chamber is hearing the testimony of TCW 386. Mr. Tujpari, can you report to the Chamber the current status of the parties to the proceedings and parties concerned?
Tujpari, Mr. President, for today's proceeding, all parties to this case are present. On the side, No Tanuchi is present in the holding cell downstairs. It is pursuant to the decision of the trial chamber concerning his health. The national lead co-lawyer for that by law, and through the best knowledge, this witness has no relationship with any of the civil parties recognized in this case. Thank you, Mr. President. President, thank you. Court officer, could you invite the witness and the duty counsel into the courtroom? President, good morning, Mr. Witness. What is your name? Witness, my name is Leo Lam. I am from Kampong Chnang. Thank you. How old are you, Mr. Leo Lam? Answer: I am 58 years old. Question: Where is your current address? Answer: I live in Chrak Songkai village, Svai Chuk commune, Samaki Minche district, Kampong Chnang province. Question: What is your current occupation? Answer: I am a rice farmer. Question: What is your father's name? Answer: My father's name is Prin Leo. Question: And your mother's name? Answer: Her name is Noon Sam. Question: And your wife's names? And how many children do you have? Answer: My wife's name is Nu Rem, and we have 10 children. President, thank you. And Mr. Levlam, as reported by the greffier, to the best of your knowledge, you have no relationship by blood or by law through any of the civil parties in this case, nor through any of the two accused, that is Noon Chi and Kieu Sampon, and that you already took an oath. Is this information correct? Answer: Yes, I already took an oath. Question: Are you related by blood or by law through any of the civil parties or any of the two accused, Noon Chi and Kieu Sampon? Answer: I am not related through any of them. I do not know them. Thank you. We would like now to inform you of your right and obligation before this chamber. Mr. Levlam, as a witness appearing before this chamber, you may refuse to respond to any question or request for comments or assertions from you that could incriminate yourself. That is your right against self-incrimination. And in order to help you in this process, we grant you a duty counsel that is in collaboration with the WISU, so that you can seek consultation with this duty counsel for any question that you think might incriminate you. And of course, it is solely upon you to respond or decline to respond to the question. And now on the obligation as a witness to appear before this chamber, you must respond to all the questions put to you by any of the parties or any judge of the bench, and you must tell the truth that you have heard, have recalled, experienced, or observed directly in relation to any event put to you through the questions by the parties or the bench. Do you understand that your right and obligation as a witness appearing before this chamber? Answer: I do not understand it, Mr. President. President, once again, you have the right not to respond to any question that could incriminate you. And if you think it is this kind of question, you may consult with the duty counsel, and then it is up to you to respond or not to respond to this kind of question. And you have the obligation to respond to other questions put to you by the parties or the bench, except in the case that you may think your response could incriminate you. And you must only tell the truth that you have heard, have recalled or experienced or observed directly regarding any event that is put to you through the questions by the party or the bench. Do you understand that? Answer, yes, I understand now. And I will only respond based on what I have experienced, have observed, or recalled. President, thank you. Mr. Levlam, during the last few years, have you been interviewed by investigators of the Office of the Co-Investigating Judges? And if so, how many times, when, and where? Answer, I gave an interview at my house in July, I think, but I cannot recall it exactly. I was interviewed once. And question, was it at your house in Chợ Sông Cá in Choi Chokosamaki, Miền Chây? Answer, yes, that is correct. Question, can you recall the year of your interview? Answer, it was in 2008. Thank you, Mr. Levlam. And before you appear before this chamber, have you read, review, or listened to the written record of your interview with investigators at your house in 2008 in order to refresh your memory? Answer, I was interviewed and the counsel actually assisted me in reading the written record, but I could not read it fully, and I was assisted by the counsel. President, to your best knowledge, do you think the written record of the interview actually reflect your responses during your interview with the investigators of the Office of the Co-Investigating Judges in 2008? Answer, yes, the written record is similar to what I told them, but there is one point in the written of the interview which is incorrect, and I need to clarify that. President, thank you. During the questioning of this witness, the prosecution is given the floor first. The prosecution and the lead co-lawyers for civil parties is allocated half a day for questioning this witness. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors, Council, parties. Mr. President, if I may start by presenting to the witness a copy of his OCIJ interview, document D-125, D-125/68. With your leave, if I could have this submitted to the witness.
President, yes, you may do so. Court officer, could you deliver the document from the prosecution for the witness examination?
Good morning, Mr. Levlam. My name is Dale Isaac. I am one of the international prosecutors and will have some questions for you this morning. I wanted to follow up first on something that you just mentioned to the President, which is you indicated that there was one part of your interview that you wished to correct. Could you tell us what part of the interview it is that you wish to correct at this time?
I want to correct one point that I walked near the Dambraisrot prison and I saw they buried the dead bodies. And in the written record, it stated that I saw the event twice, but in fact, I only witnessed it once.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Witness. We'll get to the events that you may be referring to in a little while. Let me start with a few questions regarding the period prior to April 1975. In your first answer in your interview with OCIJ, document D-125/68, you stated as follows, quote, "In 1972, I worked as a militiaman in Svai Chuk Commune, Kampong Tralak Lu District, alias District 12. I worked as a militiaman from 1972 to 1975. I demobilized in mid-1975 and returned to a mobile commune unit." Now, the district that you indicate that you worked as a commune militiaman was called Kampong Tralak Lu District, or District 12, in 1975. Is this the same district that is currently named Samake Mianche District?
Kampong Tralak Lu district is the same as the Samaki Mianche district. Previously, it was known as Kampong Tralak Lu, and the current name is Samaki Mianche district.
Thank you. Can you briefly describe for the court the work or tasks that you were assigned to do as a commune militiaman in Svai Chuk Commune from 1972 to up to April 1975?
From 1972, I joined the militia I did not do much except engage in rice farming and plantation, especially plantation of a potato, and I climbed the palm tree as well, and that lasted until 1975.
Did you ever engage in any combat with Lon Nol forces in the 1972 to 75 period?
No, I did not engage in any combat. I was assigned to engage in the production at the rear.
And were you located in a certain area of the commune? Can you tell us what village you were based in?
At that time, I stationed to the south of Chro Songkai village. It was about 300 meters from the village.
Who was the superior to whom you reported in the Svaichuk commune militia?
At that time, the chief was Sron and Nan.
What were the positions that were held by Sron and Nan?
Nan was chief of the Swai Juk Chung commune and Sron was the district committee.
Before we get to the events of 17 April 1975, I have a few more questions about the Kampantralaklu district, that area, and its history. My first question, were you aware of the capture of Udong town by the Khmer Rouge in 1974?
I knew that people were evacuated after Phnom Penh fell, but I was at the rear at the time.
Before we get to Phnom Penh, I had my question related to Udong provincial town, or Udong town. Do you recall, or were you aware of the capture of Udong by the Khmer Rouge?
I knew about that, but it was actually Udong was located in Kampong Speu, and Long Vai site was located in Kampong Chnang, and I knew about the situation that happened in Kampong Chnang, but not in Kampong Speu.
A few questions about your district. Was there another commune in Kampong Tralaklu district called Pim commune?
I never heard of a PIM commune. Simon King, Mr. President, I think the pronunciation is a little bit off for my international colleague. In fact, he refers to the PIM commune. Witness. PIM commune was adjacent to a Svai Chuk commune. Yes, I know that commune.
And when you say it was adjacent, was it directly to the west of Svai Chuk commune?
Yes, it was located to the west of the Svai Chuk, but it was adjacent to it.
Mr. Witness, there has been evidence in this trial that a number of the top Khmer Rouge leaders had offices in the area of PIM commune during the 1972 to April 1975 period. And I would like to ask you a few questions about that now. In a statement he gave in this trial on the 22nd of November 2011, this is a reference, Your Honors, to E1/14.1 at approximately 14 hours, 54 minutes, and 35 seconds. Noon Chea stated, quote, "To ensure an effective and ultimate success with the attack to liberate Phnom Penh, Pol Pot, the party secretary, had to move to a base in Bong Talong, the south part of Chrak Sedek village, PIM commune, Kampong Tralak district." And perhaps, Mr. President, to help the witness with the names, because I want to ask him about these locations, if I may provide to the witness the excerpt that I read from so that he can see the Khmer names of the location that I just provided, with your leave.
President, you may proceed indeed, and court officer is now directed to bring this document to the witness for examination.
And Mr. Witness, if you look at the part where I put the green post-it marker, you will see the statement from Noon Chea in which he identified a base that had been established by Pol Pot in a place described as Chrak Sedek village in PIM commune. My question to you is, do you know this location?
Response: I do not know this location. I think I was at a too low rank to know anything about this. Only the senior people or leaders could have known this location.
And aside from the office, Pol Pot office, do you know this village, Chrak Sedek village? Is this a location that you're familiar with?
Response: I know Chrak Sedek village.
In the same part of the statement by Noon Chea I just read to you, he continued as follows, quote, "When the Revolutionary Army was nearing Phnom Penh, Pol Pot moved to Krang Dong, also known as B5, which was adjacent to Pim Commune, Kampong Tralak District, in Chanti Village. My question to you is not whether you know of the B5 office, but do you know the village, the location that is described by Noon Che here, Krang Dong and Chanti Village?
The President, witness, could you please hold on and counsel for Mr. Noon Che? You may now proceed first. Counsel Son Arun. Good morning, Mr. President and Your Honors. May I ask that Mr. Co-Prosecutor gives the document, the relevant document he's citing from to the counsels for Mr. Noon Che? And I think it is not fair to only deliver this document to the witness for examination when we are not provided such a copy.
Mr. President, it's a transcript from this trial that is available to counsel. It's the same, for your information, it's the same site as I mentioned before, E1/14.1. The trial transcript from 22 November 2011 at the time is 14:54:35. May I proceed, Mr. President?
The President, you may please.
So my question to you, Mr. Levlam, is not whether you knew of the B5 office, but whether you can help us, whether you're familiar with the location that's described here, a village named Chanti Village and possibly a commune named Krang Dong.
Response. I know Krang Dong village because I used to be there on several occasions in the Piem commune. Yes, I know this place. I know Chrak Sdak. I know Krang Dong village.
Mr. Q. Sampan in this trial has stated, and this is a reference from document E3/27, E3/27 at Khmer 00156614, English 00156743, and French 00156666. Q. Sampan has stated that he and a number of other leaders, such as Noon Chea, were based at Pol Pot's headquarters in the period leading up to 17 April 1975. My question to you is, did you ever hear during that time that there were leaders, top leaders of the Khmer Rouge, such as Pol Pot, Noon Chea, and Q. Sampan, who were in Piem commune in that period?
Response. I have heard of them, but I never met them or saw them in persons.
And one more reference before we get to the events of 17 April. In a testimony that was given by Deutsch in this trial on the 20th of March 2012, and the reference here is E1 slash 51.1, E1 slash 51.1, the trial transcript for 20 March 2012 at approximately 9 hours, 20 minutes, and 2 seconds. And again, Mr. President, with your leave, if I may present this excerpt to the witness so that he can see the specific location that I want to ask him about.
The President, you may proceed.
Mr. Witness, in the document that's just been handed to you, again at the section marked by a green marker, Deutsch identified the initial location of the headquarters of the special zone, the office of Vorn Vet in 1973, as being in Krang Bang village, Pim commune, Kampong Tralek Lu district. Did you know a village in Pim commune called Krang Bang?
Response: Yes, I know this place, Krang Bang village.
Did you know that there was a special zone office or headquarters located at that village in the 1973 time period?
Response: No, I did not know that location, the military location. I only know that village, but not that particular location.
And did you know who Vorn Vet was in the period from 1972 to April 1975?
Response: No, I didn't. I was in the commune and did not go to that area to get to know this person.
Let me now turn to the events of 17 April 1975 and the ensuing weeks. First, can you tell us where you were located on the 17th of April 1975?
Response: In 1975, I was still at the office where I would climb the palm trees to pick up some palm juice, and I was still working there.
And is this the location that you mentioned to us earlier that was 300 meters south of Trak Songke village?
Response: Yes, it is correct.
Did you witness evacuees from Phnom Penh arrive in your commune in the days after 17 April 1975?
Response: Yes, I did. I saw evacuees were mainly from Kampong Chnang than from Phnom Penh.
When did these people start arriving in your commune? How long after the 17th of April?
Response. About a week after that period, I saw them coming to my area.
And can you estimate approximately how many people or how many families you observed who were sent to Svai Chuk commune?
Response. There were about 200 families, some still alive, some had disappeared.
Okay, we'll get to the issue of disappearances in a little while. When the evacuees arrived in your commune, where did they stay?
Response. These evacuees were placed in Chrak Songkai village.
Was there a particular building that was used to hold the evacuees? Was there a temple, or was there some other buildings that were used for the evacuees that arrived?
Response. These evacuees were not placed in any proper shelters. They were made to live under the houses of the villagers, or took refuge under the shade of some trees.
Thank you for that response. When the 17 April evacuees arrived in your commune, were they required to provide their biographies?
Response. I learned that yes, their biographies were asked to produce by a person by the name of Son. Son would like the 17th of April people to make their biographies, but the base people would not be required to produce such biographies.
The person that you just identified who instructed that biographies were to be obtained, Sron, was this the same person you identified earlier as a member of the district committee?
Response. Yes, this is the same person.
I'd like now to read to you a part of your interview with OCIJ. This is document D-125/68 at Khmer ERN 00201484 through 85, English 0027 4647 and French 00338364. And you made the following statement at this part of your interview, quote, "Immediately after 17 April, I was still a militiaman and was working with NAN. After receiving an instruction from..."
The President, Mr. Co-Prosecutor, could you please hold on? Counsel Kope is on his feet. He may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning. I object to the prosecutor reading this specific passage. Of course, I'm still aware of your ruling on issues relating to reading specific passages from OCIJ statements. I am objecting also for appeal reasons, of course, but particularly also I'm objecting because this passage is an important passage when it comes to the policy that the prosecution is trying to establish. In other words, in your terms, Mr. President, Your Honors, we have reached a very sensitive moment already early in the questioning of this witness. And in addition to this, the witness has said that he has read his statement earlier, so there's really no need to refresh his memory. Why not ask open questions when it comes to this specific topic, like the prosecutor has been doing before?
If I may respond, Mr. President, first, this is a procedure that has been authorized by the court time and again. Second, counsel is perhaps mistaken about the passage. This is not the sensitive issue that I think he's perhaps he is confused about the passage I'm about to read. I will continue to ask to start with open questions. The witnesses now already indicated that biographies were directed, and now I'm going to follow up with a quote relating to the biographies and some more specific details. So I'm doing exactly what the court has authorized us to do, and I think counsel's objection is improper.
The President, the objection by International Co-Counsel for Mr. Nguyen Chie is not sustained. Mr. Co-Prosecutor has already been following the direction as guided by the trial chamber during the last couple of years. So, Mr. Co-Prosecutor, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me just start over with the quote that I wanted to follow up with you. You stated, quote, immediately after 17 April, I was still a militiaman and was working with NAN. After receiving an instruction from SRON, NAN was taking the record of biographies of the 17 April people. Next, NAN asked all village chiefs in communes to come to the meeting in which she told them to take records of biographies of the 17 April people in all villages. End of quote. In this statement, you refer to a meeting at which Nan, who you earlier identified as the commune chief, a meeting in which Nan instructed the village chiefs to take biographies. Where was this meeting held, if you recall?
Response. These meetings were held at the office, which was located about a few hundred meters from the commune. They were not conducted in the commune office itself.
Were you present at this meeting where Nan asked all the village chiefs to take biographies from the evacuees?
Response. The meetings were conducted in closed sessions, but during the meeting I heard that Comrade Nan asked people to provide their biographies, but I never been allowed to access to any of the biographies.
And can you give us your best recollection, your best memory of how you heard that Nan had asked all the village chiefs to collect biographies?
Response. I was near that place and I heard Nan told the village chief to collect biographies so that they could be handed over to throne. That's what I heard.
Can you tell us where was Nan's office located?
Response. Nan's office was at the same place as where we worked. Actually, there was not an office, and the militiamen were asked to work at the houses of the villagers because it was requested by the cadres that they should be allowed to work there.
And in the statement that I just read, you indicated that in the period immediately after 17 April, you were still a militiaman and that you were working with Nan. When you say that you were working with Nan, did the commune militia report to her?
Response. It was Nan who was in charge of discharging duties or tasks to the militiamen, including delivering messages to people. So I was also under the instruction of this person.
Did you have a position or rank in the commune militia at the time?
Response. I was a simple or ordinary militiaman and did not hold any significant rank.
And I'm not sure whether I've asked you this or you've mentioned it already, so let me just confirm. Am I correct that Nan was a female?
Response. Yes, she was a woman cadre.
Now, after the biographies had been collected from the 17 April evacuees in your commune, do you know who the biographies were sent to and what they were used for?
Response. I learned that Comrade Nan collected the biographies from the village chief, who then handed over to Throne, and I just did not know where else these, or to whom these biographies could have been sent further.
I'd like to read another statement from your OCIJ interview, D125/68. This one is at Khmer 00201484, English 00274646, and French 00338364. You state here, quote, "When the 17 April people from Phnom Penh arrived at District 12, they were asked about their biography by cadres. Based on their answers, they were classified into two categories: the ordinary people, such as rice farmers, and non-ordinary people, such as soldiers, civil servants of Lon Nol, and capitalists. Can you tell me how you became aware that the 17 April evacuees were separated based on their biographies into these two groups, ordinary people and non-ordinary people, such as soldiers or civil servants of the Lon Nol regime?"
I knew about that while I was still a militiaman, that there were two categories of people. The farmers would be put to one side, and as for the soldiers, there were no needs to ask about the soldiers, because the soldiers were considered to be in the opposed group.
Do you remember how you learned that the 17 April evacuees were to be divided into these two groups? Were you at a meeting where this was discussed, or is this something you were told by Nan or someone else in the commune?
At the meeting, I was nearby and I heard Nan speak about the categorization of the people. The farmer would be put to one side for them to work.
And when you said you were nearby a meeting and heard non, was this the same meeting that you mentioned earlier, or was this a different meeting where you heard non talking?
I heard only once during the meeting that I was nearby.
Can I ask you, did the 17 April evacuees who came to Svaichuk commune, did they include soldiers or civil servants from the Lon Nol regime?
As far as I know, because the civil servants were living and mixing together with the soldiers during their evacuation, and they came to live in the village together. For that reason, they needed to sort out their biography.
When the evacuees arrived in your commune, did you see whether any of them were wearing uniforms, military uniforms?
To my knowledge, there were some soldiers. For example, there were 20 or 30 soldiers who came in one day, but on next day they left, and I did not know where they went. As for the people could stay there for 1 week or could stay much longer.
Did the district or commune leaders provide any instructions or orders as to what was to be done with the 17 April evacuees who were identified as Lon Nol soldiers, civil servants, or capitalists?
During the sorting of the people, I was not aware of it, but later on, I learned that the 17 people who were farmers would be put to one side, and for the other people, they would be put to another group. And later on, those people in the latter group disappeared.
I want to read to you another excerpt from your interview and follow up on this part. This is D125/68 at Khmer 00201484, English 00274646, French 00338364, where you stated as follows, quote, "The order of this operation was issued from commune and district chiefs. I heard with my ears that Chief of District 12, Sron, told Srey Nan, Chief of Svaichuk commune, to separate the people. Rice farmers had to be kept for work, and enemies had to be taken away, and capitalists had to be destroyed." Question: what was the meaning of destroy? Answer: at that time, all people knew that to destroy meant to kill. And then continuing a little later on the next page, you stated as follows, quote, SRAN made a final decision for NAN to implement. With my ears, I heard that one of the decisions was to kill my uncle. At the time, I was so suffering. However, I could not say a word but shed tears. At that time, there was an order to kill approximately 100 families in early rainy season in 1975. This order was immediately implemented. End of quote. My first follow-up question is, where was it?
President, the prosecution, please wait. The defense counsel, you may proceed.
Again, Mr. President, for the record, this passage shouldn't have been read out. This is a crucial passage in the statement. We should have just been hearing open questions, open-ended questions. This is, to the Nigerian defense, a completely unacceptable way of getting information from a witness. So, for the record and for appeal reasons, we object strongly to this way of proceeding.
Mr. President, this has been ruled on by the court. I had asked open questions, and now I'm following up with details regarding the information the witness has provided. May I proceed?
President, the objection is overruled. We actually ruled on the approach of putting questions before this chamber. The prosecution, you may continue.
You indicated in this statement that you heard a decision or order from the district leader, SRAN, including a decision relating to your uncle. Can you tell me where it was that you heard SRAN and NAN have this conversation?
I heard of the conversation when they were in the meeting at that militia unit's office.
And can you tell us, you indicate that your uncle was one of the people who was targeted. Who was your uncle? What did he do prior to 17 April 1975?
My uncle was a lunar soldier stationed in Lung Vei.
And just to clarify, you indicated that the meeting where you heard these statements was held at a militia unit. Can you specify for us where this was, where this meeting, the specific meeting took place? Was this in Chrak Sankhe village, or was it outside the village?
It actually was held outside the village at the location of the militia unit where I lived.
Do you remember approximately how many people were present at this meeting?
In that meeting, there were about 10, a little bit more than 10 people.
And who were the people who were present other than Nan and Sron, who you've already identified? Who were the other people who were present at this meeting?
Participants in that meeting, when I was nearby, I saw village chiefs and cadres subordinate through them. So most of them were the village chiefs from Svachum June.
After this meeting, Mr. Witness, what happened to the 17 April evacuees who had been identified as Law Nol soldiers, civil servants, or capitalists? What happened to them?
After the meeting and after the sorting out of the biographies, some of those people disappeared. They were smashed.
What about your uncle? Can you tell us your uncle who was a soldier? What happened to him?
My uncle came to meet me at my house, and I told him to flee, but he said he refused to flee, and 3 days later he was taken away and killed.
Are you able to, can you tell us the location where these people were taken to, where they were killed?
The location where my uncle and other people were killed was to the west of the village. It was about 3 or 4 kilometers to the west of the village.
I want to ask you about another statement in your OCIJ interview. This is at D125/68 at Khmer 00201486, English 00274648, and French 00338366. And you were asked about whether you were present at the execution site, and you responded as follows, quote, "I was once ordered to take people to that place," quote, end of quote. Can you tell us who it was that ordered you to transport people to that execution site?
At that time, the village chief, by the name of Ta Un, who instructed me to go with him. That is to bring people to the front. That's how I was told. So I went along with another militiaman. And we stopped at a meeting place, and those people were tied and taken away for the execution. But when I reached the location, the district soldiers were already there. So then we only dropped the people off there, and we were not to allow to do anything or to go away.
The group of people that were transported or were taken to the execution site by the village chief and yourself and another militiaman, how many people were in that group?
The group that I took them, there was a total of about 20 other people, including young children. I thought that they were being relocated to another village, but instead they were taken to that spot where the district military were already there. I was scared too at the time, so I stood at one place, and later on I returned.
How was this group of 20 people taken to the execution site? Did you walk them there, or did you use vehicles?
For those people with ox carts, they would drive the ox carts, and some walked on foot until we reached that execution point.
And just to clarify, the execution site where you took these people to, is this the place you identified as being about 3 or 4 kilometers west of Chrak Sangke village?
Yes, that was the location.
And you just indicated that when you arrived at this site that there were already district soldiers there. How many district soldiers were there?
There was a group of the district soldiers, and there were 12 of them.
Were these people that, the district soldiers, were these people that you knew or had seen before?
I saw those district soldiers before. I saw them around 1973 or 74, and I knew some of them. but I only knew their faces and I did not know their actual names because they kept changing their names.
Did you know at the time who the commander of the district soldiers was?
I did not know the commander. I only knew some of those district soldiers, and there were a number of commanders at the district, but I did not know them.
And I wanted to also ask you about when it was that this event took place. Approximately how long after 17th of April 1975, how long after that was it that you took this group of 20 people to this execution site?
It was in 1975. It was around June. It was the time that I was asked to take those people.
You told us a few minutes ago that when you arrived at the execution site, the people in the group of 20 were tied up and then taken away. Who was it that tied them up?
First, I saw only 10 people being tied up and taken away, and the other 10 people remained untied, and the children were also untied. And it was the district soldiers who did the tie-up of those people.
Can you describe for us how they were, when you say that they were tied up, how were they tied?
I was nearby. They were tied up with their hands behind their back by a scarf or kroma in Khmer. And then they were walked away.
And who was it that took the 10 people, who was it that took them away after they had been tied up?
Actually, the ones who tied them up walked them away. They were part of that district soldiers group.
And what can you tell us about what happened to these 10 people after they were tied up and taken away by the district soldiers?
Of course, after they were tied up, they were taken away and executed.
Are you able to tell us, do you have any information as to how they were killed?
I did not know how they were killed. But later on, I learned that they use a club or Oscar axle to kill those people. They did not use bullets to shoot them because that would break their secrecy. They use clubs or bamboo stump to hit them or to strike them.
How did you learn that clubs or ox cart axles or bamboo had been used to kill these people? How did you learn that?
I learned that as I was told by other people. I did not witness it myself. They told me that they did not use anything but only these tools, including the bamboo stabbed, and they did not shoot those people. But I learned of this information at a later stage.
Was this something you were told by some of the district soldiers who were there?
The district soldiers did not tell me, but it is likely that that was the way they killed the people.
Do you...
President, Defense Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I invite you to instruct the witness not to speculate, not to say it is likely that they were killed in such a manner. That the witness should be instructed only to testify as to what he has seen himself or has heard himself.
Mr. President, if I may respond, the witness has already indicated that he was told this by someone. I'm following up on that. I think it's rather premature for counsel to be on his feet making submissions that is speculative when the witness has indicated that this is information he learned from someone. I'm in the process of asking the witness about that. So I'd ask to be able to proceed.
The President, thank you. And first of all, the Chamber wishes to now remind the witness that in his testimony, he should refrain from using the terms such as which suggests a speculative response. And witness is advised to respond to all questions based on his experiences and the events he bore witness to. Otherwise, his testimony would not be considered as valid or lacks of probative value. It is now appropriate moment already for the adjournment. The Chamber will adjourn for 20 minutes. The next session will be resumed by 10 to 11. Court officer is now directed to assist the witness and his jury counsel during the adjournment and have them return to the courtroom by that time.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ